of educating the community. We also advocate on behalf of those who are waiting for a transplant. We partner with local hospitals and transplant centers to deliver the gift of life. We handle all the behind the scenes logistics, and we care for the families of organ donors who selflessly give the gifts of life. So hospitals are the ones who are legally obligated to call us within 24 hours of cardiac death, as well as well before the declaration of brain death when it comes to the potential when a certain set of criteria is met for organ donation. And it's good to see the New York Blood Center here. Because we partner with you guys all the time. We're tabling at your blood drives. So thank you for being here with us. And again, having volunteer duty, we have so many volunteers who are excited to share their stories, about being either family members of donor heroes or as transplant recipients who've gotten a second lease on life. So thank you again for being part of this. So a little bit about us, again, our donor service area, designated service area, our DSA. We operate in all 5 boroughs, Nassau and Suffolk, as well as the lower Hudson Valley. We are one of 55 what is called organ procurement organizations throughout the country, OPO. So each state has at least one OPO. And in New York State, the larger states have more than one. So we are one of 4 in New York State, and we handle the downstate need for organ donation. So again, hospitals we are the federally designated nonprofit regulated by Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, and the hospitals within this DSA call us. So we work with more than 100 hospitals, 11 transplant centers. This is a population of 13 million people, and we're operating with more than 200 plus languages. So we are very, very busy, and we serve very complex needs when it comes to organ recovery and transplantation. So organ donation always starts, deceased organ donation always starts with a hero. So I'm going to describe the stories of some organ donor heroes, some of whom you may have heard of before through news media.
I think that she has
Froze, right? I think she
audio.
froze, right?
Yeah.
Right, CD
I think she froze.
And froze again.
is Detective Wilbert Mora. In 2000,
Oh, I'm sorry, right,
yes,
could you,
we're
I'm
answering a
sorry.
domestic violence call.
Could you start over
Hello?
again
All right,
when you
can
just
everyone?
showed you froze, so we didn't see
I
the,
froze. Oh,
yeah, so we just
sorry about that.
saw one that when you pulled up the these heroes, and then we couldn't hear anything after that, after you pulled up
Oh,
this
okay.
slide.
Thank you for
Okay.
letting me know. Appreciate it.
Okay.
So yeah, so these are the stories of some he organ donor heroes whom you may have heard of within the news media. And so these are heroes from NYPD, FDNY, and Department of Sanitation. So the first hero, Detective Wilbert Mora. In 2022, he and his partner, Officer Jason Rivera, were tragically killed answering a domestic violence call. Detective Mora was a hero, not just in life, but in death. He chose to become an organ donor, and he saved 5 lives through the donation of his heart, liver, pancreas, and both his kidneys. And when the news broke out that he was an organ donor hero, this became internationally known. There were articles written in Italian newspapers about his sacrifice and his legacy. So, Live on New York, we work with NYPD to honor Detective Moore's influence, legacy, and we work with NYPD with their other community initiatives as well. The second story I'd like to share is that of firefighter Billy Moon. Firefighter Billy Moon, he died in December 2022 during a training exercise, and he was able to save 5 lives through the donation of his heart, liver, lung, and both of his kidneys. His widow, Christina Moon, she is a staunch advocate for organ donation. She was able to request directed donation to other firefighters who need transplants, including firefighters who had served during 9/11. A couple of years ago, Live on New York facilitated a reunion, a meeting between Christina Moon, her young children, and as well as a firefighter who received firefighter Moon's heart. So they were able to hear their father's like heartbeats within the person who had gotten that transplant. And then finally, I'd like to share the story of Roger Kwok from DSNY. He, I believe, became a donor hero in 2023, and he saved lives through the donation of his heart, liver, lungs, and kidney. And his brother says that it makes him feel better knowing that, that Roger was a hero and was still able to save lives even after his untimely death. So a little bit more about deceased donation. I'll cover living donation in a later section, but organ, eye, and tissue donation can only happen, deceased donation, when a patient dies in a hospital and has been declared dead by a doctor. Candidates for donation must have been placed on a ventilator prior to death or have died while on a ventilator. And the reason why this is because when you die in any other manner, your organs experience what's called ischemic injury. Your heart stops pumping blood, your organs are no longer receiving oxygen, so they die alongside with you. But when you die on a ventilator, again, you are declared you are dead, but your body is still receiving oxygen, and your organs are in a position where they can be recovered and then transplanted. Causes of death include stroke, brain tumor, overdose, or head trauma. Extensive testing is performed to ensure that organs are healthy and to identify a matching transplant recipient. And a patient must be signed as an organ donor, or authorization must be granted from a qualified individual. So in our designated service area, oftentimes it's actually more often third-person authorization than through first-person authorization. This is the hierarchical list of who's qualified in New York State to make the authorization for organ donation. Healthcare proxy, spouse or domestic partner, if not legally separated, a child over 18, and then going down from there. Live on New York does have family support advocates who communicate with families about the process of organ donation. These family support advocates provide culturally, religiously, and linguistically appropriate support for the many diverse communities of our designated service area. So the gift of life. So here's a little bit more on how does this process happen? Too many people are waiting for an organ transplant. Nearly 9,000 New Yorkers are waiting for a life-saving organ transplant, and 80% of those waiting in New York State live on New York's designated service area. So we handle the bulk of the downstate need for an organ transplant. Across the United States, 100,000 people total are waiting for a transplant. And the number one need is kidney. More than 80% in our designated service area, and I think this is true of the country as a whole, they're waiting for a kidney. And then going down the list, it's liver, heart, lungs. One organ donor can save up to 8 lives and enhance up to 75 lives through tissue donation. So even if a person is not able to donate vital organs at time of death, there's often still a possibility of donating of tissue that can enhance quality of life. So a person can donate organs such as heart, lung, liver, kidneys, pancreas, and intestine. In terms of tissue that can be donated, they can donate cornea to people experiencing macular degenerative disease. We work with the eye banks on that. Tendons, athletes tearing their ACLs, they need tendon grafts. Heart valves, veins, skin grafts for burn victims, and people receiving reconstructive breast surgery after getting mastectomies, as well as bone. And multiple conditions can lead to a person needing an organ transplant. A person can get kidney failure through hypertension, diabetes, or physical injury. Liver failure can occur as a result of autoimmune disease, cancer, or alcohol and non-alcohol related fatty disease. And a person can need a heart transplant through heart valve disease, myocarditis, or congenital heart defects. So now a bit more about living donation. Live on New York does not handle living donation. If a person wants to become an altruistic donor to a family member, a friend, or even to a complete stranger, they arrange that directly through a transplant center. Pair donation. As I mentioned, donation can happen family members, friends, or to total strangers. Pair donation allows for people, 2 or more incompatible donors and recipients, to be linked to form a donation chain. So if you want to donate to a friend, but you're not compatible, you can find another pair of someone who wants to be a donor to their friend, but they're not compatible, and sort of form a chain. And again, extensive testing is done through the transplant centers to ensure healthy outcomes. And a few years ago, Governor Kathy Hochul did sign the New York State Living Donor Support Act to allow for reimbursement of costs covered by insurance, like lost wages, childcare, etc. And people can donate as living donors. I'm sure you're all familiar with donating a kidney as a living donor, but you can also donate a liver lobe or a lobe of your lung, as well as part of your pancreas and intestine. And in terms of tissue, you can also, yeah, skin after, certain surgeries, bone after knee and hip replacement, cells from bone marrow, like Be the Match, if you've heard of that, amniotic fluid after childbirth, and blood. Like, again, thank you, New York Blood Center, for facilitating that. So to get a transplant, it's a pretty involved process. A doctor has to refer a patient to a transplant program as a potential candidate. The transplant center then collects details. They'll conduct an evaluation appointment to see if the patient is a good candidate for transplant. And if transplant team members determine that the patient is a suitable candidate, they will add the person to the national transplant waiting list. This is such a thorough process because there are always more people in need of an organ than there are organs available. Because again, you have to die in a very specific manner for your organs to be in a position where they can be recovered. And they want to make sure, the transplant centers, that you'll do whatever you can so that the organ that's transplanted inside you is not being rejected. Otherwise, your body, your immune system will attack it for being a foreign organ. So you're asked if you're able to take medication every day, immunosuppressant medication. Do you go to doctor's appointments regularly? Are you capable of following doctor's orders? Are you capable of adhering to a diet and exercise regimen? Do you have a support at home, social support? Can you afford to take time off from work to go to your doctor's appointment? So with all these factors are considered, and if you're not able to account for all these factors, then it would be more difficult to be placed on the transplant waiting list. So many factors are considered when matching an organ to a patient. Blood and tissue type, again, similar with blood donation. Body mass, a child needing an organ needs an appropriately sized smaller organ for their body. Rank on the national transplant waiting list. How long you've been sick, as well as geographic proximity between the donor and the recipient. Organs only last for a short amount of time outside the body. Kidneys can last up to like 48 hours. Heart and lungs can last 4 to 6 hours. So time is of the essence. Information gathered from medical tests is used to identify the best match from the transplant waiting list. And it is illegal to make organ donation matches based on race, gender, religion, income, social or celebrity status. Kim Kardashian, if she wants an organ, she needs to wait just like everybody else. She can't buy her way up the list. Once you're on the list, you're given a unique identifier. And all the factors I previously mentioned, like blood and body mass, those are the ones used to determine your ranking on the list. Live on New York does not maintain the national transplant waiting list. That's maintained by the at the federal level. We're given the information on who is next to receive an organ on the list. And I'd like to share the story of one transplant recipient, Roxanne Watson. She is a heart transplant recipient who received Michael Boval's heart, U.S. Coast Guard Michael Boval's heart, when he was killed in a motorcycle accident in 2010. And so she's since become a tireless advocate for donation, and she's won a Guinness World Record of registering more than 12,000 organ donors across New York State. So an example of how people who've received organs get a new transplant in life and then make the most of their gift of life. All right, true or false? People of color are more likely to need a transplant. And the answer to that is true. African Americans, Hispanics, and Pacific Islanders are 3 times more likely than Caucasians to suffer from end-stage renal disease. And while organ donation and again, tissue donation and transplantation can obviously happen among people of different ethnicities or races, having a more diverse donor pool makes it easier for blood type and tissue markers in terms of matching. So people of color are more likely to need life-saving transplants and less likely to choose organ donation as part of their final wishes. And again, we work with elected officials, houses of worship, high schools, colleges, and hospitals to engage and educate others on this important issue. And you'll see our Live on New York, our donor and recipient distribution by ethnicity and census. So population as a whole, donors and recipients. And so this is roughly equivalent across all these 3 charts. And what we emphasize when we're doing outreach is that people of color are the majority on the transplant waiting list within our designated service area of the metropolitan New York City region. And they are also the majority of recipients. So there's no inequity in that sense. We need action. Only 50% of New Yorkers are registered organ donors. We used to be ranked dead last in comparison to other states. It's since been reconfigured. We're now more in the middle of the pack, but the Empire State can do a lot better. This low registration rate has led to an organ shortage. Due to the shortage, people who need transplants have to wait longer. And on average, a waiting New Yorker dies every day, tragically. An example of this discrepancy is that the wait for a kidney in the US is on average 3 to 5 years, but because New York State has a lower registration rate, the wait for a kidney for a New Yorker can be 5 to 7 years. The best way to show support for organ donation is by enrolling with the New York State Donor Life Registry. The most common way that people sign up is at the DMV. If you have a little heart on your license, you have signed up as a donor. Thank you for that. We're always tabling at the DMV to answer people's questions. But there are other ways to sign up as a donor in New York State. You can, when you're voting, you can on the voter enrollment form, you can also register as an organ donor. We partner with civic associations for voter registration drives because of this. When you're getting ID NYC, ordering, getting your health plan on the New York State Health marketplace. There are multiple portals to donation, getting your hunting and gaming license, hunting and fishing license, getting TAP benefits, or you can just sign up directly online. So I grabbed some information on the data. So we do have access to like different zip codes for who has number of candidates, recipients, and donors. So I did grab some information within the zip codes covered by Community Board 2. Who's a candidate for donation as or recipients, as well as how many donors there were. So you can see that there are, a couple of candidates, some recipients, and not every zip code has a donor. That's just simply because, again, as I mentioned, organ donation only happens in a rare number of cases after someone passes away. Okay, I'm going to go through some true or false questions. Organ donation has a ton of urban legends. I'm sure you've heard of a bunch of them. So let's go through them. True or false? Doctors will try as hard to save me if I sign up to be an organ donor. So the answer to that is very clearly false. All hospital staff, everybody, the EMTs, the nurses, the doctors, they're trained, focused, that their legal, ethical, moral obligation is to save your life. I feel like Netflix, it's a lot of soap operas, like, oh yes, the doctors are gonna let me die, and no one's gonna let you die. Fish in your pocket, see the license, see that you're signed to the donor, and that your quality of medical care is just never compromised. So we always make sure to dispel that myth. And the medical professionals who treat patients are not affiliated with the ones who recover organ, eye, and tissue. So there's no conflict of interest there. Another true or false question, organ donation is against my religion. The answer to that is false. Major religions, Judaism, Christianity, Islam, Hinduism, Buddhism, Sikhism, they all celebrate organ donation as a way to save lives. It's seen as an example of extending one's blessings and as a final act of kindness and generosity. Live on New York, we have a reverend and a rabbi on staff. We work with faith leaders across all denominations. So, priests, gurus, pundits, and we seek, we show support within the scriptures for organ donation. And we always encourage people who have questions to speak with their trusted faith leader. Another myth, I'm too old. I'm too sick to be an organ donor. People will come up to me when I'm tabling and say, oh, I'd love to sign up as a donor, but you don't want my old, used up organs. The truth is, there's no age limit for organ, eye, and tissue donation. The oldest donor recorded in New York State was 93 years old. I think in other parts of the country, they've been able to recover organs from people even older than that, like from 96-year-olds. And there are no medical requirements in order to sign up to be a registered organ, eye, and tissue donor. Medical history is reviewed at time of donation to determine potential matches and needs, and we're able to work around certain conditions. For example, in 2013, President Obama signed the HOPE Act, and the HOPE Act means that if you're HIV positive and you're on the transplant waiting list, you can still receive organs from HIV positive donors. So we're able to work around that condition. And they've been able to transplant a hepatitis C positive heart without complications. So again, never discount yourself as being too old or too sick to be a donor. Another concern that people have, I won't be able to have the funeral that I want. The truth is that these are very serious surgical procedures. They're done with the utmost care and respect, and open casket viewing is still possible. We work with families' timeframes for burial. After the organ and tissue have been recovered, the family then gets to choose, the burial for their loved one. And family members of organ donor heroes are never responsible for paying the costs relating to donation. That's always handled by the respective organ procurement organization. So the New York City metropolitan region, it's Live on New York, and other OPOs handle the costs in other parts of the country. And people who are receiving these transplant surgeries, they have medical insurance to cover the cost of these surgeries. So, true or false? I want to be an organ donor. And if you do want to be an organ donor, we encourage everyone to have a conversation with their loved ones. This is very important information. Obviously, it's not like the most, it's kind of an awkward topic, but it's so important. And so if this ever comes up, your loved ones deserve to know what your wishes are for organ donation. I do not have a QR code, but you can go to liveonny.org for more information. And I will also put my contact information in the chat if you have further questions. Thank you. And with that, I will be Judy, are you available?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Hi, yes. Okay, so you're ready to speak?
Yes.
Okay, let me stop sharing. Thank you. Let's see. Stop share. Yep.
Hi.
Hi,
Hi.
welcome.
You can hear me? Okay. Okay.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. So my daughter, Alexandra Barnes, was 26 years old when she died in New York. We lived in Colorado, and when she graduated from college, she moved to the city to pursue her dreams. She always wanted to live in the city. She was just a New York girl. I did a lot of business in New York, and she would always go with me from 12 years old. She was there with me. I'd fly in on Wednesday, do my work Thursday, Friday, and have my girlfriend fly her in Friday afternoon, and then we'd spend the weekend in the city and fly back early Monday morning, basically. And a single mom, so this was her dream, to come to New York City. So after she graduated from DU in Denver, she moved there in 2011, not knowing a person at all. And within a few short years, she had 2 blogs, was an influencer before influencers were influencers. She produced a short film, and I used to go visit her every 6 weeks. We were very, very close. And I would ask her, I'd say, "Are you sure you want me to come visit you?" And she'd say, "Yes, I'd rather be with you." And so it was a beautiful, amazing relationship. And I was very honored and blessed to have been her mother. So it was my birthday, and I was out there in New York, and she wanted to go swimming and had asked me to bring my swimsuit, which I didn't. And then that morning, it was my birthday, she said, "We're going to Rockaways, and did you bring your swimsuit?" And I said, "No." She goes, "Well, I knew you wouldn't, so I bought you one." So off we went, and we were both in the water together, and I got out of the water and went back to my towel. And then I looked over and I didn't see her. And a few minutes later, they were pulling her out of the water, and they resuscitated. They did everything they possibly could. No water ever came out of her. And eventually the ambulance came, and it was about 45 minutes from the time they pulled her from the water to the hospital at St. John's. So I knew she was brain dead. I mean, it was what little I do know. As a mom, I just knew. But we got to the hospital. They had given her the Pulp Fiction, or the shot, and brought her heart back. And they took care of her there. They did everything they could at the hospital. They were absolutely wonderful to me. And then she was on life support. They did the CAT scans. They worked as hard as they could to do whatever they could do. But the doctors kept telling me that she was the sickest a human being could ever possibly be. And to me, my question to the staff was, well, can I fly her to whatever hospital in New York? I mean, you've got these world-class facilities. Would it make a difference? And he said no. So I called I had her best friend actually call all my family. And within 24 hours, my sister and her daughter, my niece, had arrived from San Francisco. And they told me that my sister's husband, Bill, had just gone on the transplant list for a liver. And I talked to the medical team and I said, my daughter's a donor. No one came to me. I knew that my daughter was a donor because she got her driver's license at 16, and that's when she registered at that point. And we had the discussion about being a donor. I'm a donor. Everybody in my family is a donor. And then 2 years before Alexander died, both my parents died tragically in a car accident. And Alex and I talked about donor, and my whole family did. I have 5 brothers and sisters, and we all sat around and talked about what would happen if one of us died tragically. So Alex told me what kind of funeral she'd want, what music she wanted played. As a matter of fact, I had her laptop with her music being played during the procurement. So I knew all of these things, and we had had that difficult conversation. So as her mother and her advocate, I made sure all of these happened for her. After finding out that Bill, my brother-in-law, was on the liver transplant list and he had just gone on, I asked if I could designate Alexandra's liver to Bill, and turns out they were a perfect match. So his team flew out from Stanford for the procurement, which actually took about 7 days. Actually, no, take that back. 13 days after she died, because of just so many different things. We didn't know why her heart had stopped, because she didn't drown. She had cardiac arrest. And 6 months later, I found out from NYU University, they did the blood tests and all the different testing, genetic testings, that she had what's called long QT syndrome. And that's what caused her death. But Alex was amazing. She was stunningly beautiful. 5'11", but she always wore like 3 or 4 inch heels, so she could be 6'2". Walked around the city like she owned it. Total warrior princess, and just an amazing human being. As for the support that I received after I told the team at the hospital that she was a donor, within a few hours, Live On New York was there. And I mean, there was a staff member at the nurses station. There was 2 Live On support with me, asking me questions, what I needed. And at that point, I was just like in overdrive, and I was just saying, this is what I want to happen. And what are every question I had, they were there to answer for me. And they really never left my side. And even though it took about 12 days, they were in and out, always there supporting me, taking care of me. They coordinated with, obviously, with the California hospital to make sure that Bill's liver would go to him. And then afterwards, the Live On New York had offered me therapy, or they offered therapy on their website. And I did sign up for the therapy. And because I was in Denver and the therapist was in New York, Catherine and I just did it by phone. And we started in October, like 6 weeks after Alex died. And at that time, there wasn't Zoom. So when I talked to Catherine, I said, do we want to do this by phone? I can't even remember what the old technology was called. And she didn't want to, and I didn't want to. And I thought, that's great. I didn't need to see my therapist watch me cry for an hour. So I did therapy with Catherine every day, every week on Wednesday. And then in December, I got a letter from Kevin and his mother. And Kevin had received Alexandra's kidney, excuse me. And I didn't read the letter till Christmas morning, because I put it in Alexandra's stocking so I would have a gift, if you will, to read that morning. And they told me this amazing story about how it had changed Kevin's life and what a wonderful gift it was. And I agreed to meet them. So I flew out to New York in just January. Catherine was there, the team of New York, we did it at the Live On organization, and I met Kevin. Kevin is an African American, and listening to the slideshow, I didn't realize that minorities need organs more so than Caucasians. But interestingly enough, Kevin got Alexandra's information about 24 hours before we met. He saw all her websites, he saw all her work, and he told me he was quite intimidated because of not only her beauty and her brains, but just all her accomplishments at such a early age. And he was also afraid that I might be a little bit, I might have an issue that a Caucasian organ had gone into a Black man's body. But when Kevin and I met, we ran into each other's arms, we cried, and Kevin's like my bestie now. We've gone together on trips. He's flown out to my family's home in Colorado. He's gone to my family's home in California. We've taught him all sorts of things. We've had a great, and I tease people and I tell them that I have a Black baby now, and his name is Kevin, and he's a sweetheart. Then during that process, I became friends with Catherine also, and she was an intern at the time getting her degree on psychology from Live On New York. And then later we became friends, and I went to her wedding, and at her wedding, Kevin and I went together to her wedding. I found out that she needed a kidney. And so I said, well, you can have mine. And so I became a living donor 5 years ago when I was 68 years old. And she was with me when I went into the hospital. Turned out we weren't a perfect match, so we created a chain. And the next morning when I woke up, this was at Mount Sinai, I woke up that morning and Kevin was there in the room with me. And he looked at me and he said, you know, Judy, this is the room I received Alexandra's kidney in. So it's so full circle in all the connections with Alexandra's kidney going to Kevin, me donating a kidney anonymously, being in the same room that Kevin recovered. It continues to blow me away what has happened with this because, you know, quite honestly, you know, when you lose your only child, and as close as we were, there were times when I didn't want to live. I mean, what's the point? No wedding, no grandbabies, no new memories. It just stops, you know, when somebody dies. It's over. But you know, what is her legacy? This is probably it right here. Me being able to talk to you, me being able to share her story, her life going on. Other people that I've talked to, I've met so many other recipients, and my friends have shared my story, and I've had other families that were literally at the hospital making a decision whether they wanted to donate or not, and they've called me and I've shared my story. People I don't even know because of the impact that Alexandra has had, not on me, but on so many lives. And quite frankly, I don't think I would be here without, I know I wouldn't be here without the support, the knowledge, the information, everything that Live On New York has given me. And quite frankly, what you are doing today. I mean, everybody talks about Alexandra being a hero. And yeah, of course she was a hero. She gave the greatest gift you can possibly give because she did not know she gave life. She died. And through her death, she gave life. That's the most unselfish thing there is to me in the world. But what you are doing today is unselfish. The staff, the training, really you're the heroes too, because you're doing everything you can to help other people, either through donation, learning about it, or being in the process. I mean, you guys have your hands in it every day. So I thank you for the work that you do. And I'm honored to have been able to speak. And I know Alexandra would be very happy about this. So thank you.
I want to thank you, Judy. First, I want to say I'm sorry for your loss. But the life that you gave, I mean, you gave birth to life that's also given life to others. And I just, and you've continued the circle and cycle with that. And it's I'm in awe and just grateful too for what you've done.
Thank you. It's what she did.
Yeah.
She did it.
Yeah.
I just
And
got to be her advocate.
yeah. I mean, what's unusual is like so many conversations, like even among your other family members too, about what you want done and signing up to be donors. I'm just, those aren't easy conversations to have, and a lot of people don't have them. So
It's a tough conversation to have,
yeah. Yeah.
but it's needed.
Yeah. Absolutely. I wanted to give other people the opportunity to ask questions or to respond.
Wow.
Okay. Seemed like Dr. Ross wanted to say something.
No.
Oh, no? Okay. Jordan?
Hi. Okay, one second. There we go. I just wanted to say thank you so much for this presentation and sharing your story, Judy. It was really moving. I don't have a question as much as like I'm just really grateful that I've always been an organ donor now, and now I'm like, oh, this living donor part, like that's so interesting. And yeah, it's very poignant right now, as what also brings me to the community board of thinking about like how we can give back to the community and be one and create wholeness. So thank you guys for being here.
Thank you.
And right, I had a question for you in terms of like with Live On New York, because I'm curious as to the types of staff members that are part of the organization, because it seems like you have therapists, you have the rabbi, so I'm just curious as to what other like disciplines are represented. And plus it also seems like it seems like you'd be reachable, like your organization is reachable 24/7 because you don't know when. Is that true? Or like I'm just assuming based
Yeah,
on.
yeah. I mean, we are reaching, yeah, we are operating 24/7 because like I said, these kind of situations happening, they are happening off the 9 to 5.
Yeah.
So yeah, good question about the type of individuals. So you mentioned it. We have religious leaders, we do have the social workers, family support advocates who also like either backgrounds in social work, or we have some people with backgrounds in public health. We also have people who do the actual like physical recovery of organ and tissue recovery with formal clinical knowledge. My team at Community and Public Affairs, our specialization is in community outreach. So before I joined Live on New York, I didn't have a medical background. I was all over Queens politics. I was chief of staff for Assemblyman David Wetbrand, and before that, I was with Senator Savitsky and with Congresswoman Grace Meng. So I was hired on the basis of my Queens connections, and then that led me into this medical nonprofit. So yeah, we do have a very diverse range of different professions because of all the different aspects of physically organ tissue recovery, but providing the very necessary emotional support for the family members of organ donor heroes, and then out in the community doing the outreach to the community boards, to the elected officials, to the faith communities. So we just like everyone with anyone with any kind of talent that we'd love to have them join, to support this noble cause.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Did anybody have anything else they wanted to add? Just trying to give people. Okay.
Thank you so much. Let me put my contact information in the chat.
Okay. I know last time you presented, I think we had put some information in our newsletter, which we're happy to do again. But just know that this is also available since it's being recorded, and it's also available on YouTube. So, live stream. So we also have the recording available. So, I mean, it's another way for the word to get out about all of this.
Great, thank you for that. And
Okay.
I will also send like a PDF copy of the PowerPoint
Yes.
presentation. So
Yes.
I'll email you that like tomorrow. So
Yes.
thank you. Yes.
Yes. And you're both welcome to stay for the next presentation so we can hear about blood donations. So we're going to turn it over to Doreen and Will.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that presentation. New York Blood Center and Live on New York have an amazing long-standing partnership. Judy, my condolences for your loss, but God bless you for, continuing to carry out your daughter's name. And on a side note, I was very good friends with Billy Moon. My husband happens to be in the fire service as well. And, I know that Christine and her family continue to support Live on New York as much as they can. So a little bit about New York Blood Center. We are the largest independently owned blood center in the United States. If you ask someone, do they donate blood? Chances are they're probably going to say no. 68% of the population in New York State are eligible to donate. Only 3% of that population actually donates. A little bit like Live on New York, they're trying to constantly get people to be aware of how important it is to be a organ donor for those people who need organs. I actually happen to have a friend who's on the heart transplant list right now. It's a long battling struggle. The same as families in the hospital who are waiting for blood transfusions. So we are constantly reaching out to the community and asking them to please become blood donors. We started our high schools. You could donate when you're 16. So we try to educate our 16-year-olds on the importance of becoming a lifelong blood donor. So I'm going to just pass it over to Will because I am driving. So I'm going to allow him to, take the time to go through the slides.
Hi. Good evening. It's a little bit tough to follow such a great presentation and such a wonderful story. And thank you for Live on New York. They are really strong partners. We actually shout out to Elizabeth Bian. She hosts a blood drive on behalf of Live on New York at the Tangram Mall in Flushing, Queens. It's really big. It's a very nice event. A lot of community vendors show up, and it's coming up in May. I'm thinking about May. So yeah, strong supporters that we have right there. And thank you for allowing us to present a little bit about what the New York Blood Center does and what is the mission that we have. The New York Blood Center, it's one of the largest nonprofit community blood centers in the world. And also researchers. We have a huge lab that besides the manufacturing blood products, as well, we have a research facility that allow us to develop and study blood illnesses and also develops for solutions for those illnesses and diseases. So we have over 60 years serving the tri-state area and more than 500,000 life-saving blood products are delivered annually. And basically, New York City, all the hospitals in our community, we serve them proudly, and also they are our strong partners. So this is like kind of a footprint, the footprint that we have in the community, not only in New York City. Part of the New York Blood Center enterprises, we have all the blood banks throughout the nation that as well serve 75 million people, providing over 1 million products to over 400 hospitals and across the nation. Just to mention Connecticut, Delmarva, Rhode Island, Texas, we have also presence, and it's just to show you guys how the impact and the need of blood is across the nation. Diversity is our priority, and our research lab is actually leader in sickle cell research and support with our top of the line and state of the art new operation center in Rye, New York. It's a compound with a lot of science, doctors and science people developing solutions. For this part, I would like Doreen to jump in a little bit because she knows better about the matchmaking and the blood type that the rare blood type situation that we have?
So yeah, our diversity is on the top of our agenda for 2026. As mentioned with Live on New York, that the African American population is the highest in need of organs. We have a very large need for donors who can donate to patients who are receiving sickle cell um, treatment. It is very hard for us to find the perfect matches for donors because of how the genetic makeup is. So we are constantly looking for those new donors, those donors who haven't donated blood. A lot of our donors in our donor base are aging out, or they are becoming to the point where they no longer can donate blood because maybe they have their own health issues. So therefore, we are always trying to educate the community on the need for diverse blood. Throughout Queens, we are able to achieve that collection of diverse blood. Queens being the largest diverse community in the I think it's actually the world, not just the United States. That allows us to be able to not only find new donors, but to find those donors with that diverse blood for those patients in the hospital that are in need of it. If you want to go to the next slide. So a little bit on blood donor statistics. The pandemic not only devastated, you know, the world in many different ways, but it also devastated our blood collections. Our blood collections have decreased. We are seeing an uptick in collections, though we are not to those pre-COVID collections yet. We are hoping that 2026 does bring in that little step closer. The world shut down, but we were still collecting blood. It took us a couple of months to be able to find a safe alternative for blood donations. We were able to do that by opening up our donor centers and having smaller scaled blood drives in larger venues. So if you look at the chart, we were exceeding our goals at 90,000 in 2019. In 2020, we went down to 70,000. In 2021, we went down to almost 60,000. 2022, we kind of went up a little bit. 2023, a tad bit more. And 2024, we went up a little bit more. Unfortunately, we don't have the statistics for 2025 yet since the year just finished. But we are hoping that we do see a permanent uptick in blood donations. If you can go to the next slide. So we just opened our new Queens Donor Center. It's the first donor center in the Queens area. Again, that diversity that we have in Queens has made us aware of the need of having a donor center there. So I believe it just opened last month in December in Forest Hills. So for those organizations that may not have the a large number of people who want to donate, or a business or a church or a synagogue, or just someone who just wants to go and donate blood because they're just feeling altruistic that day, our Queens Donor Center is going to afford us to find new, like I said, not only new donors, but that diverse blood donors that we need, that genetic makeup for a sickle cell anemia patient who is getting transfused on a weekly basis, sometimes on a daily basis, depending on how sick they are. Next slide. So it's National Blood Donor Month in January. We're halfway through the month, but Blood Donor Month was established in 1970 to honor those Americans who donated blood. It was created during a period when the need for safe, reliable blood supplies was growing. It was during the AIDS epidemic when a lot of people were very, very unsure about blood transfusions. There were people who were very nervous about receiving blood transfusions during that period of time. So why did we choose January? January was chosen because January, and it proved itself to be true. January is a month where we struggle for blood donations. The hospitals now are, a lot of them are at like 140% capacity. RSV is on the rise. COVID, believe it or not, is on the rise. Flu is on the rise. So between that, the cold weather, and the couple of snowstorms, that proves that January is a very tough month for us. So that's why they chose that to be a blood donor month. Next slide, please. Do you want to speak about the blood emergency, Will?
Absolutely. So just to continue with what Doreen was just explaining to us, the New York Blood Center has released or has announced a blood emergency. In the recent weeks, blood donation has dropped nearly 40% below what is needed to meet hospital demands. So what that means is that right now hospitals are aware. We have released media and press releases to raise awareness about this situation, and like how Doreen was saying, seasonal illnesses, and also because we come in from the holidays and schools were also off. This is like the most critical season for us. So with that in mind, we are urging donors to participate. And I just would like to expand a little bit about the word donors. It's one of the most beautiful things that you do is to give something that is useful for someone else that you know that either you don't need or can be replaceable. With the new donor center in Forest Hills, that's what we're trying to do, to target about the community directly, so they have more space and more comfort to come and donate. But also one of the biggest challenges, and this is like as well, you can help. It's we need to find more spaces and more mobiles drive so people can come and be able to donate as easy and as comfortable as any other places. So this is about what where we at right now. I just want to highlight that we have we have in the community upcoming on January 25th in Queen of Angels in Sunnyside. We're gonna have a blood drive over there. We can send the flyer to you guys so you can have it and spread the word. That could be that would be really, really useful to us. And also, I believe that yeah, in the community that encompasses Queen Community Board number 2, Queen of Angels will have the blood drive. So how you can help? I just right here you can scan this QR codes and we'll take you to different websites and links that will allow you to support our mission. If you want to donate blood, if you want to host a drive, or if you want to spread the word, all this is useful to us. And I think that if you can donate, that's one of the most common reasons that we hear around, that, oh, I can donate for X, Y, and Z. Okay, so you can also host a drive and find a place in your community where we can host a drive. You can host a drive. You can spread the word. All these QR code will take you to those links. And I think that I will leave with these numbers, like facts and the impact of blood donation. that if you look at them and when you read about all these facts, it will put in perspective how important blood donation is. Every 2 seconds, someone needs blood in United States at a hospital for X, Y, and Z. And just keep in mind that blood can only come from another human being. It doesn't, it cannot be made on a lab. It has to come from someone else. And to give the gift of life is one of the most selfless act that a human being can do to another person. Doreen, if you have anything else.
So I just wanted to say that the New York Blood Center is desperately seeking new donors. We are in a critical period right now, and this is a across the board problem. This is not just here in New York. The American Red Cross also declared a blood emergency at the same time we did. It is a worldwide problem. The United States and the blood donors have decreased significantly since COVID. So, you have to be 16 years old to donate. I was 17 the first time I donated, and I was 33 the first time I actually received blood. And when I donated the first time when I was 17, it was really to get out of class. It wasn't I wasn't thinking, oh, I should be altruistic. It was more of, oh, I could miss Sister Fabian's physics class. So whatever the reason is that you're donating, whether it's because your friends want you to go with them at a free period at school, or if you wanted to donate because there's somebody in your community that needed blood, or it's just that, you heard a story and you were like, let me donate. Whatever the reason is for becoming a blood donor, we appreciate you. And again, you have to be 16 years old to donate with parental permission, 17 without. You have to weigh a minimum of 110 pounds, and you have to feel well and healthy. So if you are capable of donating blood, please become a blood donor. If you for some reason cannot donate, like Fausto said, please think about maybe hosting a blood drive in your place of worship, or your place or your children's school. And if you cannot do that either, please help us by social media. If you see a post on the New York Blood Center, please follow us on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram, on I think we're even on TikTok. You could just help us to get the messaging out. We do appreciate your time. Again, we partner with Live on New York, and we go hand in hand. 99% of the time, the reason why we partner together is because blood donors and organ donors go hand in hand. And we appreciate your time, and thank you so much for the opportunity today.
Okay, no, thank you for coming, and on such short notice too. I appreciate it, Zareen and Noel. One thing, okay, so with respect to your presentation, it'd be great if you could send a copy to the community board office, and I'm sending you I just dropped their email address in the chat.
Oh, perfect.
But with
Thank you.
respect to this flyer, please make sure that you send that to them. What we're going to do is ask them to send it out to all the community board members, and then they can circulate it to their networks. Okay, so we can
Send
get
it
the
to
word out.
same,
Yeah,
send it to
same,
the same
same.
email?
Send
Okay.
everything to the QNO2. Yep.
Yeah, I just sent Will a message about that.
Okay, thank you, Amparo. Yeah, just send it. Yep. And then we'll get the word out about especially about this upcoming drive. I mean, that'd be great. So
Yeah, and just want to add one more thing. Because Raida mentioned something about the diversity. In our community, Woodside, part of Elmhurst, we have many. It's impressive. Like the Nepali community is really involved in blood drive. The Tibetan community is involved in blood drive. You have the Sherpas, the different communities that they find a way on how to host a blood drive or put a bus here. So those are the warriors that we need to be fighting in our side. People that are foot on the ground and
Mhm.
and try to find that this spot or how to help the community. I just
Mhm.
want to bring this because in this donor mission that we have, there's no skin color. Everybody can help.
Mhm. Mhm. What's the address for the, I couldn't see it that clearly. What's the address for the Queens Blood Center though, the new one that just opened?
And for the sales,
Yep.
it's let you know right now. 107-10 Queens Boulevard.
Mhm.
For sales, 11375.
Okay. And then Doreen, you mentioned something about people aging out of blood donation. Like what's the upper limit then for donating blood?
So you need a doctor's note after 76, but there tends to be a lot of people who tend to, as you get older, you're on different medications or you've had different health issues. So when I say aging out, we don't really have an upper limit. You do need a doctor's note after your 76th birthday,
Mhm.
but it's more so not being able to donate anymore. I also wanted to add that the New York Blood Center also offers scholarship opportunities for community students, where you run your own blood drive within the community, and we have the opportunity to give you scholarship funding. And for more information on that, you can go to our website at nybc.org and just type in scholarship, and it'll bring it up and it'll enable some of the students in the community to host their own blood drives.
Okay. That's interesting. Okay. And the same with Live On New York. What we want to do too is make sure that there's like an article, we can submit an article to our newsletter so that people are aware of this presentation as well and can check it out.
Yeah, I
Okay.
can do that. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we
All
can
right, we
send
want to
you.
do
Thank
that.
you.
Yep. Definitely want to. So, anybody have any questions? I would like to open it up. Questions or comments? Okay. I guess not. Okay. I just want to thank you both, Live On New York and New York Blood Center. And I think it's great that you partnered together. This was great. This was great. So appreciate it. And
Absolutely.
Thank you. We
yeah.
appreciate it. Thank you so
Okay.
much.
Yes, thank you. This was fantastic. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Thank you for the good work that you do and all the people that are benefiting from it.
Absolutely.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank
Have a
you.
good night.
Okay.
Have
Take
a good
care.
night. Thank you.
Okay.
All right. Bye-bye.
Oh, that's a general question.
Oh,
Somebody.
did you have a question? Oh, sorry.
Oh, somebody.
Oh,
looks like
somebody had it.
there's a member of the community that has a question
Oh,
in the chat.
My
Charlene?
apologies.
Sure.
Not for the centers. I really enjoyed this presentation. I just wanted to know, how do you request to do a presentation for the health committee?
Oh, you can just send shoot an email to the
The
community
office and
board.
also
Yep.
maybe copy you and me.
Yep.
That might be
Yep.
the easiest way. So, Charlene, I'll send you a direct message.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much.
Okay. Yeah.
Don't log out yet.
Yeah, don't log out yet. And then the same thing, Jordan too, I know that we were already in conversation. So yeah, I know you were at our full board and glad that you can make it tonight. So you can see how things go, and we would love to have you back for a presentation. Okay. Anything else? So we're gonna do new business? Old business? Okay. All right. So then we'll no, a motion for adjournment. That's right. Anyway, motion to adjourn? Okay. Dr. Roz Amparo, you second? Okay. Thank you, everybody, and thank you so much, Judy. Okay.
Right now. Great
All
presentation,
right.
guys.
Take care.
Bye now.
Take care, everybody. Be safe.
Charlene,
Okay.
did you get my message?
Yep. Okay. And thank you, Amparo.
Of course, anytime.
Okay, hey.